All right. I think we might be live, but let's double check. Make sure we're all good on... oh, live showcase. Now it says upcoming. Doesn't say we're good yet. I think we might be live, but... oh, okay. I think we're here, everybody. I think we're here. Let's just take some time to relax. Let some people show up to the game. Get the bleachers all nice and filled out. Hand out some foam fingers. My phone will not unlock. It's like frozen. All right, how's everybody doing? We're gonna chop the VOD for later too, so if you guys want to watch it after the fact, you won't have to watch through all this stuff. I hope. See, Steven Prosser's here, and Snail Slow 69. Hope this doesn't regret me getting the Nova 2 color. Nova Color 2? You mean Nova 3 color? Or do you mean the Poke 2 color? Hope you don't mean the Poke 2 color, because this probably would make you regret it. It's pretty good. It's gonna be a good one. My phone is legitimately frozen. Like, the 3 buttons on the bottom are on. But oh, we're good. Just want to let some people file in here to make sure we're good to go on everything. Private browsing, Goody Reader. See if we're live. Live now, 5 people watching. All right, we are here. Just gonna get you guys to confirm the audio to see if we're all good on that front. And if we are, we should be able to start yapping away. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Mike, jeez, Mike. What are your thoughts on the Nook Glow Light 4? You know what? Before we get some people filing in here, Michael and I did talk about it on the Dual Live, where we tag team the month end wrap up of the what is all happening in the e-reader world. Well, Michael Kozlowski from Vancouver. Wow, are you related to Michael Kozlowski from Vancouver? So Nook Glow Light 4, Mike, you and me were talking about it, and all these companies are doing something super different. You know, the Sage had the note-taking layer borrowed from the Ellipsa, and like the what do you call the Ellipsa pen capabilities, right? And the active capacitive, and you can replace the nibs. It was this whole new world that they just opened up for themselves. And then, you know, the Libra from Kobo as well. It's like they're continuing on the H2O kind of lifestyle with the Libra 2 that doesn't need to be called the H2O anymore. And then Amazon, you know, they come out with the larger screen, 6.8. And for Amazon, that's big because they never go outside 6 inches. And then the Signature Edition brought wireless charging with a dock cradle that comes out, I think, on the 10th of December. So, yeah, Mike, like we were talking about it, and all these companies, part of the big 3, hard to say, we'll see what 2022 says about the big 3. But they had wireless charging on the Kindle. And it's like, no one needed it. It was an answer to a question nobody asked. And in fact, Mike, you were the one that thought of wireless charging for e-readers years ago, and we have been and still are selling the wireless charging adapter, and we've got it down with science. It wraps around the back of the unit. It's all good. But Barnes & Noble didn't seem to do anything. It doesn't seem, based on the pictures that you and your team gathered, Mike, that they're doing anything remarkably different. And what we thought was a 3.5 mil headphone jack, I remember at the last table sesh we had there, Mike, it wasn't a 3.5 mil headphone jack. I think it was a status indicator because it was like super small compared to the actual power button. So I don't really think Barnes & Noble has done anything substantial to the point that's really going to make them stand out. Now, we don't know, because I know you just arranged a Nook for Glowlight 4 to be shipped to the Japan office for testing. But as it stands, they've gone down in screen size compared to some of their other releases. They're 6-inch, whereas all the other guys are going bigger and better. Yeah, it's got physical page turn buttons on the side that kind of wrap around like a fingernail, sure, but at the same point, it doesn't look like they're doing anything that's gonna wow us. Now they have some Bluetooth audio, could be doing a whole world of audiobooks on there. That could be something to definitely consider, but yeah, looks very plain, very very vanilla when it comes to just the initial looks. Clarence Jacobs, sounds good, perfect. Yes, Mike and his team assisted me a little bit in OBS, and he said turn down the other mics. We turned all of them down, and we just got the big one right here, so we should be sounding decent today. Adrian Cartanuto, my mother, is here to join in on the festivities, and says Vancouver Island in the house. Perfect. Yeah, we're on. My parents just moved over to the island, and it is getting away from the extreme expenses of Lower Mainland British Columbia, which is very expensive. My phone is still completely done. I'm going to show you this right now. Here, let's do a top down on my phone while we clean up the tabletop. Look at this. Absolutely done. Look, top down works, but I can't do anything. Home button takes me nowhere, and the multiple like the more button just cycles between settings and doesn't go anywhere. And then Mike is going to chime in and say, oh, that's why you should have got Apple. But you're probably true. Anyways, phone's dead. All right, so here is the Bigme. Why this is important isn't because of that, the Bigme, because to be completely honest, nobody cares. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but it is absolutely true. Nobody cares. No one really knows what the Bigme is. We are the only people outside of mainland China and respectively Chinese review sites. Not on YouTube, of course, because you can't really use YouTube in China. It's mostly Youku and little video links you see on Taobao and JD and stuff. We're the only guys covering this. We're the only guys talking about it, and yeah, we're the only guys kind of bringing it to the world for the most part. So, what is this? This is a Chinese company that was the first to do color big time. They were the only guys to do large screen color note taking. What am I doing? Notes. My mother says WTH. Is that what the heck? Something happened? Oh, about the phone. Yeah. No, I don't know what's up with my phone, Mom. It's crazy. Yeah, so these are the only guys that do large screen color note taking. Now, you talk about the EINK Stone, you talk about all these other guys. No one else is going to do... Oh, yeah, I drew this tapestry. Check this out. Look at that. Who needs an artist to draw stuff when you got in-house skill set like this? I don't think you can pinch and zoom. You can't pinch and zoom on the canvas. No, you cannot. No. And they don't have a zoom. But anyways, yeah. They do color note taking, and it is very, very nice. And a lot of the people are saying, well, what about the EINK Stone and stuff like that? As it stands, the EINK Stone is not a real product. The EINK Stone R1 is... They had Kickstarter... And Mike and I are going to go more into this in the monthly wrap-up, so I'll just touch on it. They had Kickstarter. I think they even had an Indiegogo, and they actually had a Green Fund in Japan, and it was all written in Japanese. They're trying multiple times to raise millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they haven't fulfilled anything at all. They even took a 4-month break, and didn't give any responses to anybody about anything. So in terms of real companies, and Bigme is a real company. They've been around since the 2019, Bigme, with a bunch of devices, both big and small, 10.3s, 7.8. They've even white labeled some. Is that an arrow? What the heck did I just draw? They've even white labeled to Goyu, who made the Smart Book. Whoops, I touched the eraser button. V5. So they actually do their own manufacturing. And look at this. They have a cluster array of 4 microphones on this unit. But we're not here so much to talk about the Bigme, because the Bigme in and of itself is not that great. If we talk about the Bigme here, that's right, you have to save to get out. Although it does have its perks. It has this cluster array of 4 microphones, which is really nice for doing voice dictation and stuff like that. Pardon me. You do have your own apps. You can go to your apps here, and it is running Android. This is running Android 10, actually. And if you go here, you do have speed up, which actually releases all the memory, so 82 megs of memory cleared. And you have modes. You have HD mode, normal mode, and speed mode. So you can make this thing look really nice. And if it gets too stainy, you can press the refresh button a couple times, and everything goes away. Also, more importantly, and why Bigme is kind of cornering the market in this particular setup, is that you don't have a choice. You have no choice if you want large screen note taking. Since December 2020, Bigme is the only guys that do large screen note taking in color. There is no other brand. And you might be thinking, well, why is that important? It's because that says it all. There is no other company. If you're asking the question, are there any alternatives? The answer is no. This is the only model, make, unit ever that you can purchase with money and get your color note-taking capabilities. No other device will do it. Everything is going to have 7.8. Everything's going to be 7.8. So when you look at what is available right now for... actually, I don't even know what's available right now for... here, let's choose something here. Let's go like this. Let's go color, and we'll go... and go green. So right now we have the Nova 3 color. That is way too big of a brush. And yes, there is pressure sensitivity. And this is 7.8 inches. You have the Bigme B1 Pro. This one is the Plus right now we're using. The Big One Pro is 10.3, but these guys are using Kaleido 1. These guys are using Kaleido 2. You have the EINK Pad Color 7. I keep pressing that eraser button. I'll show you that in a second. So, now I'm stuck. Oh, I've toggled into eraser. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. So let's touch on this really quick. This pen actually has a USB port at the back for charging purposes, and it's magnetic. It's kind of cool. You don't have to charge the pen to use the pen. You can use other pens on here as well. For example, we'll bring in like the Air pen. It'll show you right there. It works. So you can use the Air pen. That's fine. You do need to charge this pen in order to use the Bluetooth connectivity. So as you saw what happened there, when I pressed the button, it changed from range and back to brush, so I can toggle my pens in between the two. The EINK Pad Color is 7. Oh my gosh. That's a good thing. I'm just not used to it yet. 7.8. But the EINK Pad Color has no note taking. None. It just has a capacitive pen. And how they get away with that is they give you a pen with like a little squishy thing, and that's just the same thing as your fingertips. And then you have the devices that are not really real right now, the Top Joy and the Re-Ink Stone. Those are both color. They're both using DES. And both of these, as of right now, are just considered not to be real things, because they're not. So in terms of color note-taking, there's no options. You have the Nova 3 color, or you have the Bigme. That's basically it. Sponsor, what is the cost? I'm going to explain, I'm just going to answer your question right now so you can run for the hills, because it's true. It is very expensive. This is $1,200. And why is it $1,200, you're asking? If you buy a 10.3 inch e-reader, it's not $1,200. You can buy 10.3s for $400, $380. Used $290. That's not where the cost comes. The cost doesn't come from the speakers and the cluster array and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with it. What it is that no one is using this panel. We saw this panel, this color panel exactly. We saw at a trade show in Tokyo, Japan. We saw this, and Sony was supposed to grab it. It was at the Linfini booth, and Linfini is a manufacturer that makes certain devices for other people. Fujitsu, Quark Logic, stuff like that. This panel, the actual panel inside, connected with a ribbon cable that they put into this housing, the panel is very expensive. And the fact that no one is using it, there's no competition. So when Bigme went to EINK, or I guess Linfini, who bought from EINK, they said, hey, I want, 40,000 panels. They're like, okay, well, one panel's $599. And they're like, cost? And they're like, yeah, that's not exactly the amount, but I'm just giving you an example. So they say, okay, well, what if I order more? And then, it's this much and that much, etc. And then they say, well, what if I want a non-color? And they're like, oh, yeah, non-color. We'll give it to you at like $9.95 a panel, because there's so much competition and they're making so many of them. But these panels, the one with the color enabled, no other I can't stress that enough, because a lot of you guys are asking that nonstop. No other manufacturer is going to use a 10.3. Nobody. So with that comes a great deal of cost, because there's not enough demand for it. And it's the whole, supply and demand thing. There's not enough demand for manufacturers. It's not like Sony and Fujitsu and Panasonic and Sharp and Onyx and Boyu and all these companies say, I want 10.3s, 10.3s. There's no bidding war. It's this panel, and only these guys, Bigme, had deep enough pockets to grab a few and bring something to the mass market. Now, unfortunately, they are in China only, but we do sell them because we have gained a business relationship with Bigme. And also, no joke, this is actually how it went. Michael and myself and both of our respective teams, me with the review team doing the in-house testing, and Michael with the news publication, etc. We do talk to Bigme. We talk to all these companies, and we said, look, you guys, we had the S3 color, we had the B1. You have to put English. It's non-negotiable. You have to put English on there. And they're like, why? It's only for Chinese market. And we're like, well, there's a lot of people in China that want to speak English too, and who do speak English, and you need to have the option at least. You don't have to, go above and beyond and break your backs over it, but you have to put English on there. And they actually did. The first gen, they did not have any English, and they were like hard up. They're like, nope, not gonna do it. Now they have English. And they said potentially they will add more languages. They have traditional Chinese for the ones that are really hard to read, that look like a fishing net. And they have simplified Chinese. It looks more like a window. And then they have English, which is one of the weirdest languages to learn if you think about it. But they finally listened to us. We had a bunch of, Zoom table discussions and stuff. And we said, look, you got to put English. You have to. And now it is. So that's beautiful, because it breaks down a lot of barriers. And yeah, you can use your phone and you can use Google Lens and AR to translate everything, but it's not the same as just having it live. You know what I mean? It works for you. You can read everything. That's the way it should be. So yeah, they put English on there. So that's step one. Step two is getting the cost down. So until more companies, right now, here, I'll show you. Right now it's Bigme. And this is an EINK panel. And the panel looks like this. It's a panel. It's called an EPD, electronic paper display. It's really, really thin, like that. And it's, EINK. And it's got a little flex cable. It goes like that. And then you get, the company gets their housing like this. This is the shell. That was terrible. Let's go back. Oh, I can't. Okay, let's go erase. Let's just erase that. I can do a better job. Watch. Okay. There we go. So they get their housing, right, that they're gonna screw on here and here and here. And they say, okay, we're gonna put this inside our housing. And we have speakers and we have microphones, etc. So right now Bigme's doing it. So Bigme talks to EINK and says, no, I want these. And EINK says, sure. It's really expensive. But then maybe in the future, 2022, 2023, whatever example, Fujitsu gets on board. And Sony gets on board, which we originally had talks that they would have. And then Onyx buys one. We think if anyone's going to do it, Onyx is going to do it, because they already have, 10.3s. They have every screen size under the sun. And Boyu grabs it. Well, suddenly they don't need to charge so much because all these guys are like, talking to EINK. So it'll be like, okay. Well, maybe we'll lower the cost. And maybe it'll be less money. Because right now, EINK is the only guys that make these panels. This is EINK Kaleido. This is not DES Slurry, etc. Let's change color here because obviously it's fun. So right now, Bigme is the only guy that has it. So yes, it costs a lot of money, and that's just how it goes. And remember, EINK is inherently very expensive to begin with. So right now, this is our reality, is that we only have Bigme and EINK. So, and trust us, I'm rambling here and we're going back and forth also because we're filling the hour and you guys can just, listen at your leisure. But this is the only guy, and everyone just keeps asking, if the Bigme's out there, there's something else, the re-ink stone's there, and like, no, the re-ink stone's not real, guys. Like, it's not here yet. Initially, during the summer, they were very vocal with us, but they went dark for 6 straight months. Didn't answer any of their supporters, and we have no idea what's happening with them. So yeah, this is the reality of what's happening right now, is that Bigme are the only guys. This panel is very expensive. So to answer your question there, Sponsor, which I already did, and Michael did too. Yeah, it's really expensive. Let's just show off some stuff here because you guys are all wondering. Yes, you do get 16 colors. White is just the eraser pen kind of thing. And then you get black and you get a bunch of stuff. You know what? I'm surprised that orange is on here. And why that is because if you'll notice a bunch of other reviews, orange is usually left out. I'm not entirely sure why. Does it look bad? I don't think it does. I guess when you're drawing, it looks fine, and then once it renders, it does look kind of muddy. I guess orange is just one of those things that are really hard to render or to show. Ali Bayudan, is it Google Play certified? Right now, it is not, but as we know, Onyx. These guys, and this is not saying negatively, it's actually a positive thing. They do a lot of GSFID rerouting things. So Google's right here, right? And you're supposed to have a verified item, but Onyx is not. So they go oh, look, a backdoor. And then they're verified. So Onyx is really good at that. Boyu is Google out of the box, BYUE, and Dasung is Google out of the box. Is the Bigme? No, it is not. But you can download apps. This is running Android 10, which, to be honest, you know what? That's nothing to shake a stick at, if that's the right saying. Android 10, I mean, Boyu's been in the business for a long time. They've had Android, they got Google Play, they have a bunch of devices under their belt, they've become their OEM. They're only Android 8, barely. They just released an update to be Android 8 this year. Android 10 is not widely used yet, and Bigme is doing it. There's Kindle there we sideloaded in. There's OneNote that we sideloaded in. So yeah, you can just, unfortunately, Ali, no, right now, or Ali, sorry, right now it is not Google Play certified, and there's no Google settings in here, but it could be. We are very influential as a company. We do have a lot of discussions with these guys, and we've been telling them English and support for other pens and stuff like that. So it very well could happen, but right now, no. You just sideload in APKs. You go to Google, type in .apk, and you just sideload it in with a USB cable. This doesn't have any of that weird Remarkable or Sony software where you have to have like a digital paper app on your PC. All you have to do is plug a USB cable into this on the USB-C port right at the bottom, and you can just start using it right away. You just go to your local storage, and you'll find there's the Kindle app right there. There's the side-loaded Kindle APK. So you don't have to have Google Play, and there are alternatives. There's other markets. There's One Mobile. There's the Goody Reader app store. We have 50,000 plus apps. So there's lots to choose from. You don't have to have Google Play. It's not the be-all, end-all. And by not having Google Play, no joke, your device is a little bit lighter. Having Google Play on your device, we've seen, especially from Onyx, which is why we reference them a lot, is because they have Google Play and they're note-taking. Their 32 gigabyte on an Onyx device is actually, I'm going to draw this out because, it's visual. If you buy an Onyx Books Nova 3 color, it's a 32 gigabyte, you know what I mean? But not really. You only get 22 gigabytes. And I think it's officially like 23.1 or something like that. You only get 22 gigs out of the 32 that is, advertised on the package. So this is, oh, you know what? I think this is 128. Let's go check together. So we'll go into the settings menu here. I think it's $128 on this thing. Device settings? Yeah, probably. Floating ball? Oh, no. Yeah, I'm just going to say it right now. They took that floating ball from Onyx. That is total grab. System update. Oh, about the machine. Storage capacity. 128 gigs. And we have a lot of stuff loaded on here. Granted, they do take a lot of it away. Much like most devices do. Cell phones and tablets alike. But you do have 107 gigs, which is a fairly substantial amount of storage. No, there is no SD card on this, unfortunately, and whether they use an SD card on the inside for storage like Kobo does, that we don't know. But you can download OneDrive. You can download what is that called? Microsoft. Is it called Drive? No, Google Drive, and then Microsoft OneDrive. Yeah, so you can download all those cloud storage things. If you have a Google Drive account or a Gmail account, likely you have a couple gigs in Google. You just download Google Drive, put it on here, and it'll work. And if it requires Google services, you have to use something else. So like Microsoft OneDrive, for example. But needless to say, it does have a lot of power. Now, one thing they did get rid of, I noticed, is 4G, 5G. Right here on the Bigme B1 Pro, this is the Plus, not the Pro, they actually had 4G / LTE data communication. So you could use your device in certain markets, not everywhere, mostly in mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, territories, all that stuff. You could use your device Wi-Fi free because you had 4G on there, which is kind of interesting because no note-taking tablets really do that at all. Kindle did that with their LTE, what they started to get rid of for a lot of them started to get rid of it. But yeah, they had 4G on there, so it's very interesting. Sorry, I had to hit my tea here. Sitting at my desk all day. No, I'm no joke. Look, I don't drink any sugary drinks because I just can't, man. You're sitting at your desk all day. I got some jasmine tea. I got some roasted green tea, and I got some super bitter green tea. This is the good stuff right here. It's not sponsored by any of these guys because we don't have sponsors. I'm just showing you my tea collection. I love tea, and it's so accessible in Japan. I remember in Canada and America, when you go to convenience store, 7-Eleven, they got good stuff, of course, but it's mostly like a whole refrigerator of energy drinks, and then it's like all colas and Mountain Dews and Sprites and cream sodas and stuff, and then you have tea, but it's like sweet tea, and on it the thing it says like 240 calories, but there's no like unsweetened, just straight up just normal tea. I think there's that square bottle that has an unsweetened version, but it's just like some throwaway dollar store orange pico garbage. It's not that great. Although, you know what I do miss at Canada's 7-Eleven is the hot dogs. Hot dogs are pretty solid, They got hot dogs here, but there's no bun at 7-Eleven. It's just a hot dog on a stick. Seriously, it's called a Jumbo Frank. It's pretty funny. Anyways, back to the show. So we're going to look at some questions we had on not so much this chat, because this chat is dead, but that's totally fine. It's more for giving back and showing you guys the VOD. What are apps like? Yes, we touched on that. Now, okay, these 4 microphones at the top. Unfortunately, you can't use it to its full potential because it revolves around you clicking on voice translation. And when you do go to voice translation and you go to new, it requires you to log in. And this is the only thing you need to log in to do. So don't let that, spur your decision to not grab one of these if you want. Logging in is the Bigme services. And with that, you need a mainland Chinese cell phone number. So you can't do voice translation. You can dictate. You can do dictation. Adrian Character News says, in the States, iced tea has no sugar. Correct. It's called sweet tea in the States. But they, and they give you that little, packet of gum syrup or like sugar gum. Yeah. I'm not against sugar. I mean, I've down some Oreos, every once in a while. But for the most part, yeah, it's fairly sugar-filled world we all live in. So those microphones are useful in certain things. You can go here and go to text. And you can bring up the text box. Where is it? Right here. Now, I think we're in English, yeah. Okay, we are in English. Or does that mean go to English? Because that says English and that says Chinese. But does that mean if I push it, I'll be in? Here, let's see what we got. Ah, that's Chinese. Okay. All right. So we'll go and just call this Peter. And if I go confirm, it's going to bring text box. Okay, so I can click that to edit. So I can go right here. And I'll go space. This will all speed up when we go to a different mode. I'll show you that in a second. So if I go here. Oh, click to start dictation. Is so cool, I can't believe it. So it does do it very well. You can see right there, it did voice dictation based on those microphones. And I'm here, let's see. I'll show you exactly how far I was away from the, so my voice was almost 2 feet away from the actual microphones itself. They've done some pretty nice things with these microphones. If you're into voice dictation, you're going to be pleasantly surprised on this, because these microphones, like, they shoot off in all directions, and they choose different, I can't remember what they said, octaves or like decibel ranges. So if you have a low voice, you know, maybe it's harder to pick up on certain phones, etc., they'll actually get you covered on this one. So these microphones are pretty impressive. You can't get the full potential of it with the actual preloaded app that takes most advantage of it. However, it's still very useful when you do voice dictation like that, and you can just fire off a whole paragraph in a second, and it's very useful. And not a lot of devices put priority this much on microphones. In fact, this is the only, I'm going to say that right now, this is the only ePaper enabled device with 4 microphones, because I know they have dual mics. I even maybe know of one that had like dual mics and then an additional mic, but this one's got 4, and that's like, feels like unnecessary, but it's pretty good. Dimas Hendra, is this marketed only in China? There is so much Chinese things on it. Yes, Dimas, this is a Chinese company called Bigme, but you don't have to use any of those. In fact, I think you can uninstall them. Let's see. Yeah, you can. You can just uninstall all the Chinese bloatware. If I don't want this, I think this is JD. I just uninstall it. I don't remember what that is. If it's I think that's maybe the social media marketplace thing. If I don't want WeChat, I'm pretty sure I can uninstall. Yep, you just uninstall right there. Uninstall, you click that and it goes away. You don't have to use it as a Chinese device. You can just buy it and make any experience you want by just using the USB cable. You plug in there, and if I go down to local storage, this is all my stuff. I have oh yeah, I gotta press the little buttons. I sideloaded the Kindle app so I can use Kindle. I've put I think a PDF in the documents. You don't have to use it as a Chinese enabled device. And see, once you open something, there's a whole bunch of different things that says how do you want to open it. XPDF, you can put Adobe on here, you can do whatever you want. Let's get to some questions here. Adrian says, ignorant question, when you buy a new tablet or reader and choose a particular language, can you change it later? Yes, you can. That is a good question, because you don't want to ever be trapped into one particular language straight off of the initialization when you start. So you can always go to the settings. Most, if not all, devices will have language settings, and then you can toggle between them. You can click simplified Chinese, traditional, and most devices have like huge lists of languages, Portuguese, etc. So yes, you can change it at any time, and it changes system-wide finally. So that's a very positive thing we've seen from Bigme, because they were resistant to change, much like a lot of those Chinese companies are, like iReader, iFlyTech, to a lesser extent like Goyue, whatever. Even I think Hanvon has shown great resistance to changing to English. But you know, you want to have an international presence, this is what it needs to, it's what it takes. And in fact, since this one came out, we have sold significantly more of these than we did the B1, because, or the B1 Pro, this is the Plus, because of that English toggle. And you know, English is the international language. I mean, it evidently is. You know, you don't go to Zimbabwe and see a road sign written in Israeli. It's going to be written in English. So it's you know, the way it's the default language. Color overlap is another question. This is about as good as an example as we can give you. The color overlap is fantastic. You can see that there's no mushing or bleeding into each other. it is a very, very clean line. And this is increased from the first generation of Kaleido. And what that means is if I go to a color, you know what, here, let's switch up some styluses here. I got my Goody Reader coffee cup filled with styluses. That's what I'm drinking this morning. Let's choose the Air stylus. Let's do that. And yes, all styluses will work on this unit. Unless you have something weird like a capacitive Ellipsa pen, they'll all work on here. No problem. So if we go to brush and we go maximum size and we choose a color, let's go harsh contrast. So we're going to do a big blob of yellow. I know it's hard to see, so I'll do my best to show you guys. So you got a big blob of yellow right there. If we cut through it with a, let's choose a red. Oh yeah, deep red. So in Kaleido 1, I had a little bit of problem with, like, you know, mushy colors. So and now to show you, actually, I'm going to go to pen, really fine, and I'll go to color, and I'll go to black so I can show you. So they had a problem with this range around here, you know, where it connects. That actually looks like a hot dog. I'm just talking about hot dogs. It looks like a hot dog if you made it on a piece of bread and you were going to fold the bread around the hot dog, which I know used to do when I was growing up when there was no hot dog buns. Anyways, yeah, so this line is very clean, you can see. So if you're overlapping colors with other colors, it's an extremely clean line. I wish I could show you even closer, but webcams don't have a whole lot of focus control. That is a very nice line. And if you have seen Kaleido 1 devices before, they had big problems with that. And this one is very, very nice. And I think we have some example photos that we did have the guys load in here for the review we did. Should be under pictures. Oh, boom, look at that. All right, yeah, we had them load in a bunch of stuff that had, like, you know, round imagery. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to clean the screen here. Blip, there we go. So that's pretty clean. Like, that looks as good as color's gonna get right now. Color e-paper is that's about as good as it's gonna get. Dimas Hendro, with 25 people watching, I feel like I'm watching an online class. You know what, Dimas? We don't do it based on the amount of people watching because we know it's not a we know it's not like a university class size. Although we did have, I think, 100 people watch the Kindle live showcase. But this is Bigme. I mean, come on. You know, let's just call it like it is. You guys don't even know who Bigme is. I mean, we didn't even know who Bigme was 14 months ago. So that looks really good. Blue looks really nice as well. Blues are very vivid. I think we're not on HD mode. Let's go to a mode here. We are in HD mode. So HD mode is going to look the best and refresh fairly infrequent. And why it does that is because it's giving you, like, the best look. But where am I going? There it is. You can just hit that button if you ever need a refresh. That blue looks really good. And again, looking through a webcam over the internet, you know, thousands of kilometers away from wherever you seem to be viewing, it's never going to look as good as it does in person. Pardon me. This car looks pretty gangster. Very nice car. Cubes look really good too. It's the high-res cube imagery. I'll show you right here. Very, very clean. And this is as non-reflective as you can get. We put a light here so we can always kind of reference, you know, light spillage and stuff like that. So there's an actual light, and there's the outside from the window to the right of my office here. So this is pretty good when it comes to anti-reflectivity as well, while still retaining the structural rigidity of having glass. But because they put glass over it, you do have a little bit less of a writing experience feel. It doesn't feel as good. But what they do is, and this is more industry inside stuff that we actually learned from the recent trade show we went to in Tokyo, Japan. The nibs that Bigme uses, they don't buy their own nibs. They buy made in Germany nibs from Stadler. The nibs that they use in this pen is the same one as the Jumbo Norris. It's the same sticky feel. And why they do that is because when there's glass on the screen, you lose a lot of that writing feel. It's like you're writing on a smartphone, because it is. So what they do to gain some of that grip back, some of that resistance when you're, you know, scrolling across the screen, is they add the Stadler nibs. And the Stadler nibs have at least in our industry, are very well known for being high grip. So it's a very nice feeling to have. It's kind of like a compromise. They needed glass on here. They didn't want to just be dull like, sorry, but the Onyx Books pen. You know what? Onyx Books is a little bit of a anomaly. I don't know why they're doing this. They had a really nice pen. This pen is one of the best pens in the industry. It's the Air pen. It had proprietary nibs, these conical little nibs. Fantastic. But for the second gen Air, they don't even use that anymore. They use this one, which has these plain old dollar store nibs in a shorter shell, in a shorter pen. It's just missing the mark. I don't know why they did that. It must be cost savings because they don't even give you the Air pen when you buy an Air anymore. You have to buy the Air 1 or buy this separately. Very silly. But yeah, the Bigme pen is hit or miss. It's very polarizing. Some people like the fact that it's Bluetooth enabled. You can do, you know, dictation. You can change pages with the pen itself. You have these great made in Germany nibs, but at the same point, it's really bulky and really heavy. And to use Bluetooth, you have to charge it. And it's just like, it's this gigantic tube of pen you're holding in your hand. And it's one of those things, either like it or you hate it. It's just one of those polarizing things. Adrian Cartoon says I would be considered biased. No way. I have to say I do learn every time I watch. Concise and refreshing delivery. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's great. I mean, I know this more than a lot of people, so, you know, we try to share our expertise with all of you guys and deliver in the best way we possibly can. And these live showcases are one of our ways of giving back and showing you, and we're letting you guys dictate what we do with this. For example, user 1 just says, can it run video? You say jump, I'm going to jump. I'm going to go right over to the video and show you that right now. But not before Dimas Hendra agreed. I'm also impressed with the way he delivered the speech. Thank you very much. And someone says, is red. And he said, like it. Perfect. Like it. Very nice. I like that you are here to follow along with what we are showing you guys. So let's go over to the browser and we will go to YouTube. YouTube. Now, funny fact, if you were in China, you would not be able to go to YouTube. You can't use YouTube and Google and Facebook and Instagram in, I can't talk while I type. In China, you can't do that because they have their own infrastructure. They have Youku is their YouTube, and they have Taobao is their Amazon, for example. So you actually can't use YouTube there. So yeah. So because we can't show anything royalty free, I'm going to do a shameless plug and show you my hobby channel because that is something that won't be DCM takedown, which is digital copyright management thing. So it'll be me repairing one of my cars. So that's what we will show you. But we will show you video. Absolutely. Now watch this. Watch this. That looks terrible, right? It looks absolutely terrible. Because it does look terrible. That's what's happening right now is you're forcing these little particles to do more than they're capable of doing. EINK is particles. Right now, all the parts that are white, these little dots are just like settled to the bottom. And all the parts that aren't white have these particles rise to the surface. And you're going to make it go, oh, I got to show this. I got to show a cube over here. I got to show something over here. It's a lot and it's asking too much. But everyone now has some sort of A2 mode or speed mode. So if we go to normal, things are going to, oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You see what they did? The color is no longer a solid color. It's mixed in with dots. It's like dot, blank, dot, blank, dot, blank. And by doing that, it doesn't put as much stress on the little particles to make the image. So now the particles are like, oh, okay, I can relax a little bit and I can show you a better experience. And now it's more fluid. See, now we can see it. Oh my God, it's me. Yeah, so now we can walk through the meadow and you can see what's happening. But it's still a little bit choppy. Oh no, what are we going to do? You actually can go one step further. I just pressed back. Okay, just ruined everything. Live over. I'm going to end the broadcast. No. Oh, we actually did have AXBX says, I'm watching from China using a VPN. Yes, thank you very much for joining in. Yeah, oh, I can actually read your name a little bit. It says fast up like. It's going to be completely different in Japanese than it is in Chinese, but it's pretty close. These are the same characters. But yeah, AXBX, thank you for joining us today, even though you'll have to utilize a VPN to watch this. But yeah, China has its own world of ecosystems and everything. They don't need Google and all that. So yes, let's go to the absolute last mode, which is speed mode. This is the equivalent of A2, and this will allow you to watch the video properly. Now you can watch it. You can just, it's probably like at least 20 frames a second, 24 frames a second.
So it's been raining non-stop.
That's pretty solid. That's fairly fluid. That's buffering, sorry. So this is just some project car I'm currently fixing right now, actually. I'm going to turn the volume down so I don't have to talk over you guys, but oh, here it is. Yeah, but video is very fluid in speed mode, so that's the way you do that. Oh, fast up like is good morning. Oh, well, good morning to you as well. Yes, you're a couple hours behind Japan, I believe, in China, so thank you very much. And IS Red said something person Bigme use something something. Yes, we're using the Bigme. User 1 says fantastic. Yes, no problem. Videos now for us this is like candy. Because a lot of you guys are looking at this and you're like, oh, I'll just use my phone. I know. Yeah, I use my phone too. It looks better than this, of course. But at the same point, for this to be color 10.3 video and audio with EINK, because EINK is EINK. It's a calculator screen hitting the gym on steroids. This is EINK right now. This is the same as your Texas Instruments that you're watching. And for it to show a concise video so that you can watch it and understand what's happening is nothing short of phenomenal. It really is. From a technology, you don't have to even like EINK to understand what's happening, to appreciate what's happening here. From a technological standpoint, this is amazing that what it's doing right now. Yeah, the colors are a little bit fuzzy and it's washed out, and that's because that's the compromise. If you want to look at an image, you can look at an HD image. But you'll have to look at an image. It'll have to stop loading. Right now, for these little colors to be flipping around every which way, thousands of little dots to create an image to properly tell you what your eyes are seeing, it's amazing. It really is. So, yeah, we did a review on this as well, and you can check that out. And, yeah, look at all the staining right now. Because it's in speed mode or A2 mode. A2 mode is the industry standard for it. So we call it that, but they call it speed mode. When you're in speed mode, everything looks terrible. And that's because that's the compromise. When you do something, it's just going to be there. Like, oh, YouTube's still showing. You can kind of correct that by refreshing it. But every time you do something else, it's just going to stain. And that's fine because look how fast it is now. You know, I can go to settings. I can go to more settings. Just boom, boom, boom. You know, like you go to language settings. Everything's very quick. So that's the compromise. And that's why they give you 3 modes. I like HD mode. It just looks so good. Look at that. That's crisp. That's very crisp. It's a good way to say it. CC says, this is amazing. Yes, thank you, CC, for dropping by on this morning slash everything, because we got a whole bunch of time zones joining us today. We have 12 minutes left, approximately, so we'll keep showing, again, you know, not to discount Bigme, but I'm going to discount Bigme. No one really cares about the device. I mean, it is what it is. Everyone cares about the colors, the note-taking, what it looks like when you're choosing your color palettes, choosing blues, pinks. That's what we're all here for. We're here to see the color note-taking, and man, is it good. Dimas Hendra says, it's amazing that the ink screen in this e-reader is surprisingly high refresh rate. Yeah, I was surprised too, honestly, how clear and how quick it is. It's a very quick unit, and I'm on HD mode right now, and this is writing very fast. You know, latency is a measure of speed, and to have low latency means there's low delay, therefore it's very quick. So that's what basically that means. I like yellow. I gotta say, yellow's gotta be my favorite color on this device. It looks so good. Look how good that looks. You know what I mean? Like that's a very solid experience. We got some deep forest green right here. Moss green going on. We got some, I don't know, some baby pajama pink. Sky blue. Got some oh, I didn't choose it. Got some sky blue up in this place. Look at that. You know, I gotta say, I love these nibs. I loved it. I had suspicion, and honestly, I did say that these were like stickier nibs, but to know that they're made in German, made in German, they're made in Germany to have very high quality. They honestly are. The Stadler's a company that was established in the 1800s in Germany. They're a pretty solid brand. So for these to be running that, I'm pleasantly surprised. And you know what? Not to discount anyone else that is using the regular nibs, but they're regular for a reason. They're so plain. They're so plain. DM needs physical page turn buttons. You know what? It does have it. I'll show you this. I'll show you secret physical page turn buttons. DM, watch this. Prove you. Local storage. Go back. Books. Oh, you're going to be like, whoa, man. He was right all along. You ready to see this? Oh, this is going to surprise you guys. Watch this. Physical page turn buttons. Seriously. No, it actually is. So this Bluetooth pen does a lot, if you're just joining us, does a lot more than you think. You could literally sit here and just be like, here, I'll show you, like my elbows on the screen, on the tabletop. I got it on my head. I'm, like really relaxing. I'm like, turning pages. Oh, what was that? I was going to go back. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, ignorance and want. Okay, yeah. No, DM, I'm just joking with you, though. It's not real physical page turn buttons, but it is Bluetooth enabled. But, yeah, you got to charge it. You don't have to charge the pen to use the pen. In fact, yeah, you can write on an EPUB. So you can write right on an EPUB like that. You don't have to charge the pen to use the pen, but you have to charge it to do the Bluetooth. And look at this. Watch this. How far do I have to be? It's not doing it. Oh, whoop-ah, got it. Yeah, so it's kind of cool, but no, the pen doesn't snap to the side. If it did, you know what? If it snapped to the side, like some sort of square rail, or connected with some pins to then give you physical page turn, but oh, that would be nice. There you go. See? Now we're thinking. Now we're thinking. The Zorgzilla, hi, I'm jumping into last minute. How is it to read comic books? Well, Zorg, I think we have some comic books on here. Maybe not, but I'll show you PDF because it's literally comic books can be PDFs. So I'll show you. Open up with XPDF. There you go. So that's a color page right now. And you can use the physical buttons on the pen. It'll still turn. See? No wizardry here. Oh, I pressed exit. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so no witchcraft, but yeah, the colors are good, really good. Page turns are fine. Page turns are fine. Oh, you got to tap. Oh, it's exiting. Oh, it keeps stopping. Okay, yeah. Don't let that scare you either. How it works is that when you open something, you don't just open it, you actually choose an app. So we were using XPDF. Evidently, maybe this is too big of a PDF. So let's choose WPS Office instead. Sure, I agree. Sure, can't read that. I allow you to take all of my information. Okay, I allow you to make all phone calls on my behalf. Okay, there you go. So now we're in a different application, and you can download like Adobe, you can download Moon Reader, Moon Plus Reader. You can download whatever you want, and yeah, it's gonna look good. It looks really good. Okay, this app is just terrible representation of what this can do because that was not a good screen transition. Yes, but it does look good. CC, so as someone who joined in late, what do you think this tablet is for? If the Supernote A5X is for writers, is this for artists? Well, CC, I will say this again because you're here late, but that's totally fine. If you want a 10.3-inch note-taking device, period, don't buy this. It's really expensive. I don't recommend it. If you want a color 10.3-inch note-taking device, then you have no choice. If you need to write in color with 16 different colors on the screen like this, if color is required, for example, I am a teacher. I'm grading papers. I don't want that off gray to be red when I export. I want it to be red now. So I'm going to go, oh, that's orange. So So I'm going to go red, and I'm going to go, oh man, Johnny, you're going to be held back. Oh my God, you are terrible. Well, Johnny just failed his class, and I know that because he got a 0 out of 5 on his report. And that's all red. And I can see it. It's live. It's a working file. But then Cindy comes along, Brainiac, and gets 5 out of 5. Look at that. I now have this very easy distinction between green and red and 14 other colors. So that's who it's for. It's for someone who needs color now. A lot of devices have colors. Onyx has like, I think 12 colors on their black and white device because it's like gray, gray, and gray again, another gray, gray with an R, gray with a G. But you don't know that it's those colors when you're looking at it, only when you export it. So that's why this exists. And this is EINK. It's the same company that makes Amazon. It's the same company that makes Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Onyx, Boyu, Fujitsu. Everybody uses this exact panel, this company. These guys, Bigme, are using a 10.3 inch color. And that's where it comes from, is that's who needs this. Someone that looks at their apps and goes like this. I'm going to look at my apps. Oh, look, it's color. I know that this is this because it's red. And you click it. Everyone knows the light blue of the little guy reading a book. That's Amazon, etc. Oh, DM, you gave us a donation. Thank you very much. Yes, you can use Kindle as Kindle because it's Kindle. You sideload Kindle. It's an APK. You sign in. We're not signed in right now, but you can use it and you can download things. It's going to be, relative to your location, and you can go to your library and your store and sign in and search Kindle and use it as intended because it is Android 10. So the answer is if you can use something on Android 10, it'll work on here. Thank you very much for your donation. Again, we do not do this for donations. We do this to give back, spend an hour of our time, and show you a good showcase on things that are not easily attainable for you guys. How is the eraser? Says DM. The eraser is only as good as the pen you're using. For example, I can use the eraser on here and range it like that, or I can, toggle between eraser and pen just like that by pushing the Bluetooth enabled buttons. Or I can say, you know what, forget that. I'll use a different pen and click on eraser and then click on track. And then I can now erase. And I can say, well, I don't want to use my nib the whole time. So you go over here to your coffee cup, your Goody Reader coffee cup filled with pens. And you're like, oh, look at this. I have a pen with an eraser. So I can now erase. I don't have to use my nib. And the eraser will never wear out. So it used to be that the device was like either good or bad with erasers, etc. It's only as good as you make it. And again, if you're just joining us, guys, you don't have to worry about this being a Chinese brand. We understand. It's from China. It's great. It's they're doing things that other places are not. And you don't have to say, oh man, I don't want to use Taobao and Youku. Well, you don't have to. Our users here that are from China, they're probably AXBX. They're probably using Taobao and Youku all day long. JD for their stuff, that's great. But you don't have to here. No, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Amazon. I can go to whatever app I want. I can use Microsoft OneNote if I want to do so. You make this the way you want it. I don't want JD on here. Well, long press it and uninstall it. Oh man, I don't use WeChat. Okay. Long press and uninstall it. Use WhatsApp. You can use WhatsApp on here. You download WhatsApp. So it's a blank slate with some bloatware on there. But it's a blank slate. You can use this the way you want to use it. This is not recommended for people, as we had CC said. Who is this for? If you're in the market for a 10.3, don't buy this. It's too much money. It's $1,200. You could buy a Supernote or like an Onyx and still have enough for a smartphone for $1,200. Don't buy it. If you need color, I recommend it because it's the only one. It's the only one. It's the only one close. And no, all you guys asking about 13.3 inch color, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen right now. There is one company on this planet Earth that is using anything bigger than 7.8, and that's these guys. It's the only guys. So, yes, that's just the reality it is. That's just what's going on. The Zorgzilla, is that right? Will there be any competition in the size range, in color, note-taking in the near future? Where is my thing I drew? Do you guys remember me drawing it? Oh, I don't know where it is. Oh yeah, I think you can do that thing where you look at all of the... It's around here somewhere. I drew a big thing, remember? It was like a big explanatory thing. Was that it? Anyways, yeah, so right now, how we discovered this, actually, this panel, was we went to the trade show in Tokyo this year in February, and Sony was going to grab it. And it was like, oh, the digital paper. And this was honest. That wasn't like a mistype or a clickbait video. This is the panel that Sony was going to grab for their DPT 2.0 that they had on location, that we did a video and got like 500,000 views. This is the panel. Just so happened that Sony didn't grab it. Get some light. Where's the light? All right. Why can't... Wow, it's really not a very good contrast of logo. There it is. Bigme grabbed it. Bigme out of China said, you know what? We're going to do it. And they did it. And here it is. You can buy this right now and have it in your hands just like me and be like, do. And if you don't want it to be left-hand ledger, you turn it around and it becomes right-hand ledger. You know what I mean? You hold like that and you can use your left hand on it. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about it being a mainland China catered product, because you can use it anywhere in the world. It's totally fine. Krishna Chityana Sataru, he says, hello, Peter. Hello to you as well. AXBX says, do you think color e-ink is the future for all monitors, or will it be good enough to replace LCD OLED? No, I don't. No. Man, they're going crazy with their TV technology right now. No, e-ink will never replace LCD LED. I'm just gonna say that right now. But it's the necessary it's the necessary accompaniment to everything. You need an e-ink monitor choice. You need an e-ink cell phone choice. You need an e-ink tablet choice. You need e-ink smartwatches choice. Thermometers that are e-ink, because not everyone's the same. If I can't look at a screen all day and I'm like, oh, my eyes hurt, I want to use something where I don't say my eyes hurt, and that's e-ink, because looking at this is the same as looking at paper. It's the same thing. It doesn't hurt your eyes. If you crank the glow light, because the glow light is powered by LEDs, if you crank the glow light and hold it right up your eye, well, sure, you're shining a light in your face. Sure. But if you have a normal distance like this, and you're just reading, and the glow light's on right now, you can see it's on pretty substantially, halfway on the warm, and a third of the way on the blue. It looks great. Look at that. It looks fantastic. It honestly does. I'm pretty impressed by it. Look at that. You see the colors all the way from back here on a webcam. Yeah, it's never going to replace LCD LED. No. Krishna Chaitanya Sataru, it is good to have 10.3-inch color e-readers. E-reader. It's the only guy. But yeah, you're right. DM. Wow, yikes. CC, if Books made a Max Lumi 3 with color, that would be huge. The first people to use 13.3 color is going to break the game. It's gonna break the game. Yeah, it really will. It'll break the game of life using 13.3-inch color. People want 13.3 so bad right now. It's insane. And I'm not saying $700 is cheap. It's not. But it's the cheapest it's ever been. In 2013, a 13.3-inch was $1,200 USD. Now, almost 10 years, 8 years, 9 years later, it's half that cost of today's money. So it's really not that bad. Suzuki added support to the channel. Thank you very much for joining our community here of e-paper and e-books and e-readers and all that stuff. And if you guys have any questions, Suzuki, hit us up. AXBX from China, he says, actually, I use Taobao and YouTube, not Youku, all day long. Okay, well, you use Taobao, so I'm half right. You use YouTube, but you can't just go on a regular Chinese computer with a Chinese local internet provider and use YouTube and Facebook and Google. I mean, I know that's a fact, because you just can't. You have to use IPs, you have to use VPNs, stuff like that. And that's fine. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. I hope you guys found this interesting. I hope you guys found that this was a decent enough unit to do a showcase on. We wanted a little bit of break from Onyx. Onyx is great. Trust us. They're fantastic. They just released a 7-inch. They didn't need to do that. They have a 6. I think they have a Russian model 6.8 and they have a 7.8. They didn't need to do a 7-inch, but it's good. I'm kind of glad they did it because now they legitimately have almost every single screen size from 6 to 25. Their Mira Pro is 25 inches. Ridiculous, those guys. But the last 4 lives, I think, the writing demo, the Lumi, the Air, and the Nova Air, it was all Onyx, and we wanted to give it a break. So I think we didn't do a poll this time because we just wanted to show the Bigme in its glory, in its EINK Kaleido 2 10.3-inch glory. But we will be doing a poll for next week, and no, we won't have Onyx on there. We're gonna put maybe the Re-Ink Stone, I don't know, maybe the P10W, something like that. Whoever does the YouTube stuff, we have a team that does all the YouTube management and stuff. They do thumbnails, and I just hit myself trying to do something cool. Well, that I thought was cool. That do the thumbnails and all like the SEO and stuff. They will be doing the poll, and they'll have 4 choices of e-readers what you want to see on every Thursday on the live showcases. Get your votes in for that, because if you want to see something that you can't normally see in store, like a Boyu product or a Moby Scribe product or a King Jim or something like that, we will show you. If you want to see a Hisense phone, I'm actually going to pitch that because some of the Hisense phones are very nice. So yeah, we hit our hour, and we very much thank you guys for joining. And if you guys have any questions, you can watch the VOD after. You can leave comments down below. We'll usually be on the comments for 30 minutes to an hour after the VOD is done, the live is done. You know, if you immediately have any questions. Michael Kozlowski says, I love Goody Reader. YouTube symbol loading, YouTube symbol loading. I didn't even know you could type that. I don't know where you're getting that. And DM says, you and Mike are the go-to on this stuff. Yes, I think we are. Krishna says, EINK helped me a lot when I have to read around 30 research articles last week. Oh, I'm looking at 3 monitors right now. I got my cell phone here. Trust me, EINK is never going to replace an LCD, but it is darn good to look at after a full day of sitting in an office staring at screens. Straight up, it is, honestly. The Zorgzilla, thank you for all your work from New Zealand. Oh, thank you. Awesome. I think you guys are like the last time zone. I think like maybe Kiribati or Fiji is like really close to the international date line, but I think New Zealand's got to be the last time zone. Ayush Pande, I saw stream ended. I'm sorry. We wish we could sit here. I mean, no, I mean we can't. Yeah, I can't. I got stuff to do. But yeah, I wish we could sit here and just do like 3 hours with you guys, but we can't. You know, we try our best to give back as much as possible, show you guys some great stuff. And Michael keeps the donation train going with a cool $2.79 Canadian on set. Fantastic. CC says thanks for the cool content. Oh, we do have a content. I'm gonna get to that one sec. I'll do a final plug. What do you call super detailed reviews between you guys and Voya from My Deep Guide. You guys got it covered. Yeah, we don't have any affiliation with that guy, but yeah, he's off doing his very long videos. That's fantastic. Fiji is first. We are second. Almost had it. Yes, contests right now, guys. Kobo Rakuten has donated a device to us for the purposes of a contest. So they got in on our contest train, and they've done one through us with a Kobo Sage. That one is running only 1 week contests. I'm gonna look at my calendar right now because we got 4 more till the end of the year, everybody. Girls and boys, we got one ending on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. 4 more contests, 4 more devices, maybe a Paperwhite, and we're gonna get some good stuff coming out to you guys. So hit up the contest because they're really free. You enter, you share one video link. It's so easy. You know, I'm not. You show it's so easy. You share one video link, and you get something for free. Obviously, you gotta win, but you know what I mean. It is free. So. Yeah, what are we reviewing in the next week, Mike? We're going to put up a poll. We're not going to put Onyx on there because the last 4 have been Onyx. So we're not going to put Onyx. We're going to put some stuff. Actually, I might even WhatsApp you when my phone stops dying. My phone is legit. It's like, look, I'll do a top down. Final thing. I'm rambling before I leave. Look. And why I haven't restarted it yet is because I have a sick time. I have a sick uptime right now. Actually, if I can get to the settings, I can maybe show you. Oh, I can show you. Yeah, look at this. Final thing. This is awesome. You guys can't beat this. And if you beat it, I'll give you a Kobo Forma case personally. Look at this. Beat that. Beat that uptime. Can I focus in on that? I can't focus on that. That uptime right there says 3,650 hours of uptime. 3,650 hours is 3,650 hours divided by 24. That's 152 days I haven't turned my phone off, which is probably why it's malfunctioning. Anyways, guys, we're all done. Thank you very much. We're going to put a poll right when we're finished, and we are going to get back into some reviews, regular schedule programming. Everyone is in the office today. We're rocking and rolling, and we are going to, I think yes, Michael, the Onyx Books Leaf is next. And more stuff to come from goodyreader.com. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to wait for a couple seconds till the stream ends. And I know, it's 152 days. That's almost half a year. Let's see if I can go for the whole year. No. But it is real. I did actually not turn my phone off for 152 days. No joke. And if someone sends a valid screenshot, I will give you an e-reader case. Not joking. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Steven, you watched the whole time. First and last comment was Steven Prosser. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome.